Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, and here we are. You join me at Circuit de la Sarthe, ready for the GTTCC Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship hosted by Mature Racing Club on Facebook. And this is race 8. So we've already had a race in the same night. These races are on Friday night. So this is a reverse grid of the first race. So we'll quickly go through the grid. So we've got Turner in first, so finishing race 7 in last in the Mazda, and so on down the field. We've got Steve Stearns in second in the TT. We've got Dark Smoke in third in the Mazda. Has 91 in fourth in the Renault Megane. Viale in fifth in the Ferrari. Diablo in 6th in the Hyundai, had a really good start last week in the Hyundai, did Diablo. Robust the Hood in 7th in the TT. Rafael in the Lamborghini in 8th. I find it really hard not to say I'm instead of ADG123 in 9th in the Honda NSX. And GT Deli B, which we also all know as Coalition Soldier, but he's changed his gamer tag, is in 10th, so winning the last race, race 7. And yeah, in the Porsche. So without much further ado, we'll get underway. So just going to watch it from the back and then skip up the action. So quite a good start from us guys at the back, not with regards to gaining loads of positions, but just very respectful between us all, and could have maybe pushed each other or had made contact with other people. So those guys at the back were just holding off into the first couple of corners just to give ourselves a chance of getting through clean, but maybe a lot slower than we would have liked. I haven't watched this replay through already, so I'll just end up skipping through. I've got no notes to follow for this one. So we see everyone setting off quite well, keeping it clean side by side at the start. Has braking early, so GT finding himself with nowhere to go, so back into 9th. All just waiting through here, 5 cars side by side there and no contact, so perfect example of what I mean in the MRC. Really good racing, good clean respectful racing from pretty much everyone at all times. So good to see that you can run 5 cars through quite a tight exit out of the turn 3 there, and we can all get away with running side by side without anything happening. So good example of the skill level involved with some of the guys in these championships. So we've got Robust now right on the back of Viale. Viale looking for the inside on Rafael. Rafael looking to slipstream Haas in front of him in the Megane. So it's all going on. Long straights are these on Circuit de la Sarthe. It's a Le Mans track if you're not aware. So there is actually an alternative track layout to this without any chicane. So a bit of contact into there, Haas going wide and going deep into the first chicane down the long straight. Looking back, we've got Steve Stearns on the back of Robert Sword. Steve Stearns, Robert's just going past Viale now, so Viale dropping back into 6th. Robert's into 5th. And it's Dark Smoke who's in 4th in front of him. Getting right onto the back of Rafael and looking for the braking point down into here. There's not that obvious a braking point. We've got to brake early, going about 140 I think, can't remember exactly actually, but going quite quickly into these braking zones. So Robbo's getting a decent run out of there compared to Dark Smoker, and gaining some time. Viale looking at the back of them both as Roberts actually gains 4th over Dark Smoker, now in 5th. Got Viale actually looking like he's got a chance. Let's go skip back up. Oh, so Dark Smoke having a little moment on the exit there, losing a bit more time again, and Roberts the Hood dropping him off. T-Stone's dropped back a little bit now. Has, after that mistake into the first chicane on the long straight, on the, I can never remember the names, there's a certain name for that straight, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, into the first chicane he ended up going into the gravel, so slow out of there. Finds himself right at the back now. So stick with the action. We've got Viali ploughing into, who was that dark smoker there as he ran down into the inside, very, very harsh. Contact there. I'm actually going to skip back. I wouldn't normally skip back, as you guys know, but just to give it some context, I'll go a little bit further back. So Viali got a good run now. I'm right on the back of Viali. Viali's got a good run on dark smoker. I'm right on the back of Viali now, going to the side of him to overtake. So Viali's line's now compromised through here. So he just finds himself with nowhere to go other than the inside line, gets the braking completely wrong and collects dark smoker, but in a big way. I managed to, like I said, prefer not to skip back through these things. Skip back to me, watch it from my perspective. We'll see what happens. So I go to the left, tip it into this corner, which is no problem, and then it all becomes, so just manages to miss me basically and just ploughs into dark smoker because he had nowhere to go. So bad incident there, but these things do happen. We do try and race as clean as possible, but it's not always possible. Mistakes do happen, as we've just seen there, him getting it massively wrong on the brakes, and that's a consequence of it. So unfortunate there for Diablo and not Diablo, Dark Smoker and Viali, but yeah, that's racing. Sometimes it don't always go to plan, and we all know that. We've all had bad races. Dare say we've probably all had more bad races than we've had good, if you're anything like me anyway. So we've got Rafael chasing Turner for the lead. Turner running a little bit wide there, so probably picks up a penalty from that, and he'll have to lose that penalty at some point on the track, probably allowing Rafael to take first place eventually. Robbo's not far behind, so he's worked his way back into third place from starting in, where was it, 8th I think. So Diablo in 4th, chasing them as well. I'm in 5th, chasing quite closely, and we'll just catch up with other people. GT Delhi, so Coalition Soldier, in 6th now. Steve Stone's having a slow moment, probably getting rid of a penalty. In 8th, just dropping back, and has going past, and Dark Smoker going past now, so dropping into 9th, Steve Stones, and Dark Smoker into 8th, and has into 7th. Viali in the Ferrari right at the back, finds himself now after that big incident with Dark Smoker. Dark Smoker managing to get past Steve Stones after that incident. So we'll stick with the action again. So me going incredibly wide there, so I'll pick up a penalty. This was the downfall of my race, the word penalty. I must have had about 12 penalties through this race, and I got really frustrated because on some corners I wasn't even sure how I was picking them up, and it seems like there's just a white line, and if you cross that white line then that's it. So there's no real, and especially through these chicanes down this straight, you see me taking my penalty now, so you can see GT Delhi V coming up and taking the place past, going past me as we're heading to the chicane. This is what I mean about these chicanes. They seem to have curbs to use on the exit. So for example here, as Delhi B runs a bit wide, so he'll have probably picked up a penalty there for running so wide, but he didn't actually go over the curb. So that's my issue with this circuit. You can pick up penalties when you don't feel like you've actually cut the track. You're using the curb that's there on the exit, and just because there's a white line in front of the curb, then it kind of means that if you do go fully over that curb, you've actually picked up a penalty. Anyway, you all know what I mean. I'm sure we all had one through this race, and it's really bloody frustrating. Look, I've done it again there, so I don't consider that massively off, but it's another penalty. I've just picked up that. And generally in racing, I know there's white lines in real world racing that are stricter on some tracks than others. And if you go completely over the white lines, that's it. It's you're over the white. You know, you're off the track. But I just think when there's runoff areas to use, and certain tracks like Red Bull Ring, for example, on this game are really lenient. And then you've got tracks like this that just seem to be really, really harsh with the penalty system. Anyway, enough about that. So Dark Smoker and Haz catching me up now. So Haz has just gone past me in 6th place. Dark Smoker looking to get the place off me as well. Got Diablo now in 2nd. We'll skip through the order in a minute. We'll just watch, see what happens here. Into these corners. So we'll go closely into those corners, but give Haz the apex. They're just trying to chase each other closely now, coming out of there. Steve Stones is actually in the back of the picture as well. A bit of distance behind, and you can actually see Viali there as well, so it's all starting to come back together this race now. We're nearly 10 minutes in, and the incidents have happened, and drop people back are starting to get neutralised by other people holding each other up by racing so closely together. So we've got Dark Smoker in 8th, 7th is me, Haz in 6th, GT Delhi B, Coalition Soldier in 5th, Turner in 4th, Rafael in 3rd, and Diablo now in 2nd, chasing Roberts the Hood. Roberts the Hood out there in 1st now, having a good race, done well in this championship, and whenever he's in that TT he seems to be winning the races, so he's a good competitor to try and beat. Did manage to finish the 7th race in front of him, which is a little personal victory for me. Actually raced against Roberts last season and took the championship from him, and other people as well that were tight in the battle, but this time round this season he seems to have the legs to take the championship away, so long as he has 2 good last races and he don't lose too many points. But it's more or less his to lose now rather than his to try and win. He's already got the win done, so long as he has 2 good races in the last 2 races that are coming up on Friday. So Roberts trying to chase him down. Rafael in 3rd. And again, I'm just skip through the order. Turner in 4th. GT not too far behind him now. Me and Haz side by side as we head down the long straight. I'd probably pick up another penalty at some point and have to drop back. It looks like I'm doing it now, in fact. That's how many I had. It's almost consistently on the straight, lap after lap. I picked up a penalty. It gives Dark Smoke a chance to get a bit closer as well. And I'm now following Haz again. Got Steve Stearns and Viale right at the back now, trying to make the way back into the race, but it's hard on this track. If you make too many mistakes, there's so many long straights where everyone's flat out at full speed that it's not like you can just make up all the time through the corners. There is quite a few corners on this track, but they're fast corners, so again it's hard to make up a lot of time through those. So it feels like one of those tracks this where you drop back and then it's really difficult to claw your way back into the race. So I'm back past Haz, but again it looks like I've got another penalty, so I'm pulling over to the right hand side off the racing line and taking my penalty, letting Dark Smoker through this time. No, not quite actually. So me and Dark Smoker side by side as we're heading to the braking zone for this tight right hander. Watching Haz go through, and Dark Smoker takes it off me in 7th place as we both gather it up on the brakes. Nice clean racing as well, no contact through there even though it's a tight corner, so giving each other a good racing room. which I non-stop bang on about, as you might have noticed. But I think it's one of the most important things when you're trying to have a good championship together, actually being respectful between each other. And it's what they talk about in F1 and stuff like that as well. Obviously there's racing incidents and there's crashes every now and again and stuff like that in the heat of the moment, but all in all it's respectfulness between the drivers that creates the championship that they have, so they can race side by side and rely on each other, not being dirty with each other basically. Obviously F1's a completely different kettle of fish. The money involved means that they can't even do that kind of stuff, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's the whole ethos of good racing. So we've got Turner now side by side with Rafael. Who's going to win through this one? Cutting across Rafael for the line for the next corner, so just in front of Turner enough to do that, and managing to keep the place because of it. If we'd gone side by side through that second corner with Rafael, with Turner, sorry, then he'd have probably ended up losing the place or having an incident maybe. So you can see in the background, got me and Haz still battling away quite closely together. Saw me go a bit wide on the exit out of one of those corners. Switch up the camera angles a little bit. So we've got GT Delhi B right on the back of Turner now as well. He's actually going down the outside, so passes him for 4th place. Where's he gone? He's there. So he's well and truly got it done. Turner looking down the inside, but not close enough to have a genuine attempt, so decides, thinks better of it, and actually has a bit of a moment, ends up dropping back, so I missed what happened there, but he's dropped back into 7th place as Turner. Has now into 5th, and I'm up into 6th. And GT Delhi having a good race, coming from right at the back after winning race 7, so started right at the back in this reverse grid race, in 10th place, and now up into 4th, so showing that he's consistent, having a good race here. And chasing Rafael now. Looks like he's actually got a good run on Rafael as well. So long as he sits in the slipstream down the straight, he'll probably catch him up more and more. Looking back, we've got Haz sat in GT's slipstream, and I'm right in Haz's slipstream as well, so these long straights just give everyone a chance to catch up in a way, to a point, if you're in each other's slipstreams close enough, that is. So if we look back, I've just taken the place off Haz, heading into there, but again going probably a little bit too wide on that white line on the exit, so probably picking up another penalty there myself. I might have got away with it that time. We can see Haz dropping back as he takes a penalty, and his car starts ghosting, so Haz has actually dropped all the way back now, so it must have been a big penalty he's got. Rafael and GT still side by side as they head into the left hand entry chicane. Pretty much the same corner, identical corner to the right hand one that they've just gone through before. The exit's the same anyway, so trying to get maximum speed through this part of the corner to get down this section of long straight into the tight right hander, which finishes off the Mulsanne straight. Is it? It is. It's come to me eventually. The Mulsanne straight, so without the chicane in it, it's you can just sit there for about a minute and a half at full speed, and it takes forever to get down. But using the chicane this week, and rightly so, otherwise it would have been just fastest car would have won pretty much. Fastest top speed, I mean. So a good battle going on between these two now, side by side as they head down here and look for the braking point to the left hander here. If you get that right, you can actually carry a lot of speed on the exit, but both having to go quite slowly through there, so I'm right on the tail now as well. If you watch what happens here, Rafael just having a bit of a moment. I get a good run on him, he takes a little penalty by the look of it. So he has to drop back behind me, I take 4th place, and then GT Delhi's in 3rd. So again, really good racing here, good clean racing as well. So Rafael having a bit of a mixed one, was in 3rd place not so long ago, now he's in 5th. No massive mistakes that have dropped him back there, just little errors here and there, and not breaking the slipstream down the straight, crucially. Dark Smoker in 6th, chasing, going a little bit wide on the exit there, probably picking up a little penalty from that. This is how harsh this track is, this is what I was trying to say earlier, every run over a white line is a penalty. Even though it's very easy to do on this track because there's no walls to hit, so it encourages you to do it almost with the way that the corners are set up and the what they call curbs. So Haz right at the back, we'll catch up with these guys briefly. Give them a mention. Haz now in 10th, Viali in the Ferrari in 9th, Steve Stones in 8th, Dark Smoker in 7th, Turner in 6th, side by side more or less with Rafael into T1. Coming out of there 5th and 6th. Got GT Delhi, Coalition Soldier on the back of me. I'm now in 3rd place, right on the back of me, so we'll watch this for a second. Incredibly close. Can't really go anywhere through that corner. GT Delhi there, and don't want to risk going side by side and getting a penalty, no doubt, so I actually end up taking the corner faster than him but get a penalty because of it. And GT Delhi's little technique there of just letting me take the place through the corner and carrying the speed, chances are I'll pick up a penalty, and I do, so I end up dropping back. Bad driving from me there, should have made that corner work and I would have had the position well and truly on Coalition. But yeah, his wise driving gives him 3rd place back, and I drop down into 4th now with Rafael right on the back of me because of having to slow down for the penalty. So having a moment through that corner as well, so Rafael goes up into 4th, gets past me quite easily, just managed to keep it controlled through that corner, so if there was an opportunity, which you saw it was quite possible from the way I got it wrong on the brakes, then he could just pick the opportunity out, and he managed to just tucked it into the apex a lot tighter than I did, and the room was there for him to take the place. Good driving from Rafael, bad driving from me, making a mistake and losing the back end a bit. So Turner right on the tail now, right on my bumper, cutting the corner again there, so another penalty probably from me. I couldn't help it, the curbs there, I just keep running wide to it. I don't know if I've got a penalty, it looks like I haven't this time round. So side by side, and trying to get side by side with Rafael, but it's not happening at the moment. Looking for the braking point. A little tap as I touch him on the outside, and that just messed up my line completely for the brakes. I had to get off the brakes briefly as I went past him as well to make sure I didn't hit him. So hit him, I mean, I'll give him a little touch on the way past, so that's me dropping back there, that's terrible driving, but I like to pick up on my own mistakes as well, show that, you know, these things happen to everyone, and if I point out other people's mistakes, it's only fair that I point out my own. So Dark Smoker making most of that and going up into 6th, Turner now in 5th, battling away with Rafael. I've dropped out of that battle altogether now. Rafael going a little bit wide, trying to gather it up, so Turner into 4th now. It's a good move, and unfortunate there for Rafael, getting it all wrong a little bit and just going deep into the corner. So Dark Smoker, catch him at a bad time. Has a moment of oversteer as he comes out of that corner, loses the back end slightly. So we're 21 minutes in, we've not got that long left, we're only on lap 5, but these laps are, if you look on the right hand side, 4:21 lap time there, being his fastest from Dark Smoker, so a very long laps, over 4 minutes long. I think the fastest lap was a 4:18 something or other. I had the fastest lap at one point, but someone took it off me, gutting. So Haz and me are back together again. We were racing together earlier in the race. Haz dropped back, but look, we're more or less magnetic and end up finding each other throughout the race. Steve Stone's now right at the back as we're joining him going over the grass a little bit. Probably having the same difficulties as me, picking up penalties all over the place, even though he feels like he's racing half decently. So we see Dark Smoker there slowing down on the right hand side to take a penalty, so dropping back again. Dark Smoker doing quite well, then dropping back. I think it was an issue for a few of us, these penalties. So now finding himself in 8th place, and I'm battling with Viale all of a sudden in the Ferrari. So he goes a little bit wide on the exit of that corner. Gives me a run down here, but I've got to keep it clean. Cutting the white line again there, so that might be a penalty. He goes off without any contact, as you saw. Just managed to miss his braking point, I guess, and probably lock up because he had to hit the brakes extra hard because of that. And then saw himself just spear off into the gravel. So Dark Smoker back up in 7th, he's up, down, is Dark Smoker in the positions. Haz in 8th now, Viale in 9th after that mistake, and 10th Steve Stones. So all mixing up a little bit, not through overtakes really, but through mistakes at the back. We see Rafael having a big moment and getting it all wrong, collecting Turner in the Mazda, and slowing down to let Turner pass, if not take a penalty. So rightly so, Turner going up into 4th place after that unnecessary contact, but it looked like Rafael just had a bit of oversteer moment, and Rafael Turner had nowhere to go. So Diablo down the inside of GT Deli, thinking better of it and backing out. Going wide on the exit, so that's definitely a penalty for Diablo there. And GT Deli is just going to see his lead increase away in 2nd place now. Not that far away from Robus as well, we can see him further up the road, so it's a possibility to actually catch him up. You can actually look at the top speed, so I guessed it earlier. So we're over 150 now. As we're heading to there, 155 just about, before Diablo hit the brakes. So GT Deli dropping back now in 3rd place, and Turner right on his tail, catching him up. So quite a bad mistake that from GT Deli, that corner cut. And getting the penalty, and it's again, penalties the story of this race really. You think you're doing really well, and then one tiny moment and you find yourself dropping back a few places, or if not one or 1 or 2 or even more if it's a particularly bad penalty. So I'm now in 9th place, Steve Stearns in 10th. I've probably missed all sorts of action through this race, so I do apologise. Viale in 8th now, Haz in 7th, Dark Smoker in 6th, Rafael in 5th, GT Deli down the inside of Turner in 3rd at the moment, but let's see and stick with it, see what happens. Will he keep 3rd place? Yeah, good driving, good clean driving, side by both of them. Fast corners these as well, so easy to have a moment. And trying to gather it up for this left-hander can be difficult, can run wide on the exit quite easily. So both getting it nicely done. And then heading towards the end of the lap now. So we've only got 1 more lap to go pretty much after this one. And then heading towards the start-finish straight, onto the 7th lap it'll be. Let's check out Robus as well, give him a bit of coverage. He's away again. Seems like he's got a big gap to him. Done the 4:18.562 as his last lap on lap 6, his fastest lap. So good lap there from Robus. Diablo dropped GT Delhi off now by the look of it, so quite a gap to those guys. And then Turner and GT Delhi are still battling away, and Rafael looks like he's coming into the mix now as well. Bit of distance between them, but like I say, we're on it isn't the last lap yet, or it hasn't come up as the last lap yet, but it does end up being the last lap. So Has 91, catch him at a good time just as it goes down the inside of Dark Smoker side by side now. Has on the inside, Dark on the out. Good racing from them guys there. That was good clean racing, good fast corners again, side by side, and it's always good to see. So Has and Dark Smoker having a good little battle towards the end. And Dark Smoker making the most of it in 6th now. Has in 7th, trying to chase him down. Viali in 8th. I'm in 9th still, and Steve Stearns, so we won't touch on that too much. You can see Steve Stearns now as I go wide going past me, so Steve Stearns is probably going to take 9th place. Nope, he's got a penalty by the look of it because he's ghosting, so I keep 9th place. Unfortunate there for Steve Stearns, he could have had it if he hadn't got that penalty. Viali chasing Has very closely now. I've not really told the story of people catching up. It's hard to do as I skip through, so again I apologise for that, but looks like Viali's taking a penalty there, so Has gaining a bit of distance from him. And we'll skip back up to the action, see what's going on and stick with that. So no, it's all, the gaps have opened up a little bit more now, turns out. So Rafael's dropped back from Turner, which were pretty close a minute ago. Turner's dropped back from Coalition or GT Delhi, and it looks like GT Delhi is now catching Diablo, if anything, but it's still quite a distance between them, so it's going to be a bit of an ask to get that done before the end of the lap. As we see, it's gone over 29 minutes now, so coming up to half an hour long. These races are half an hour long, so once it hits half an hour it turns into the last lap, and I don't think we'll get over the start finish straight before that, so this is the end of the race pretty much we're watching. We're just flicking through everyone again. There's pretty big gaps now, so not a lot to say. Just wrap it up before the end of the race and get all my little spiel out of the way. If you've really enjoyed this, give us a like. If you want to follow the rest of the races and other racing that I do, subscribe, and you'll get notifications when I put a new race up or a new video. Yeah, I want to keep trying to say this every week. Thank you for everyone that races in these leagues and turns up week after week to make it what it is, because without that we wouldn't have a close championship, and that's what everyone enjoys at the end of the day. Even if you're not right at the top of the championship, it's still good to battle away with whoever you're close to in the table. So yeah, it's good to have the people to race with, and also the people to be good enough at racing to give us some decent action for decent replay videos. Yeah, they're not all full of action. Some are better than others, and some I have to waffle my way through because there's not a lot going on. But a lot of them turn out pretty well, I think, and I do watch some of the better ones back, or the ones that I feel like went a lot better than others. So anyway, we see Robert Sahud finishing now. Enough about me. Diablo in 2nd, bringing it home. GT Delhi in 3rd, coming over the line. Turner in 4th, good race from Turner, really good race. Rafael in 5th, right behind him, so good challenge right to the line there from Rafael, but not getting it done. Dark Smoker in 6th. Has now in 7th, coming over the line, so not a bad race from Has as well. He seems to be getting better and better results and better at racing week on week as I watch him. Viale UK coming home in 8th. Me, ADG 123 in 9th, and we've got Steve Stearns 270 bringing it home in 10th in the TT, in the Durex TT. Hey. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been ADG. Like I say, if you haven't subscribed already, give us a subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel and make it as successful as possible. So yeah, thank you very much and take care. Hope you enjoy this. Oh, I've enjoyed it. Sorry, my English is terrible. I hope you have enjoyed this. See you soon.